It's a cold wind today in Galveston. I feel like temperature is about 48, about 45 or 48, something like that. The water temperature is probably anywhere between 60 and 65. I really didn't check it, but I'm pretty sure it's between 60 and 65 by now. The flounder not biting, but it's a good time to give you some information when you come out here. Probably get you some neoprene gloves. As you can see my gloves, and the wind chill is a little bit more than air temperature, and there's wet water coming. There's water coming off your reel. It doesn't help. So some good neoprene gloves would be good. And today, when it gets a little bit cool out, I'll just put some heavyweight line. I got this line. It's a spider wire 65-pound test braid. It's still on my reel from my Florida snook fishing, so I thought it'd be a good idea to keep it on there. I don't have to use a leader, and my line don't twist a lot with this braid. I'm starting to like it a little bit more. I never suggest anybody to use braid because it's hard to work with, but this is 17-pound test diameter of what mono would be. So 65 will land you any fish. I landed some 40-inch. Well, I hooked some 40-inch and 40-inch snook in Florida with this 65-pound test. So I'm pretty sure to land a flounder. I caught a 7.74 flounder the other day with it, so it didn't break it. It didn't cut it, so I'm pretty confident with this 65-pound test. So that's part of the equipment thing. Get you some rubber boots and some warm clothes and go flounder fishing. You can always go to your automobile or truck or whatever you have and warm your hands up and come on back out. Take a break, come back out and fish. It's not as bad as it seems. You dress a little warm, and that's when the big mamas will bite. Now, as far as catching, right now, at this moment, I haven't caught one yet, but I know sometime those flounder will be there and won't bite because they're lying dormant, like sleeping. They're there. And I have proof of this from wade fishing with a lot of great flounder fishermen using several different baits, some with shad, some with live mullet, dead mullet, artificial with flounder belly, lined up, hundreds across, and nobody getting a bite. Then at the end of the day though, we all end up with limits. And that's when the limits were 20. And I found out that we could cast and the flounder would not bite. We knew they were supposed to be there, but I came up with the conclusion without scientific evidence, but with real evidence. We cast in the shallow water and then start moving out. We cast some more and move a little bit further out. And eventually we would step on flounder. We would step on flounder and see them come up. And that's where I knew they were always laying there. They were laying there the whole time. And I think they were dormant. Just laying there, resting or waiting till they're ready to eat. So if you're in a situation where you can wade, fan your cast out, work the water real good, as thorough, confident with your bait, then start taking a few steps forward. If you step on flounder, you might come to that same conclusion, that flounder was there the whole time. But he just wasn't eating, he just wasn't ready to feed. They were laying there, just waiting till they're ready to eat. So just keep fishing, take a break, go back, There should be a flounder there. Then sometimes, if Big Mama is eating and she's just caught some bait to eat, she will hit your lure. You'll feel the strike. You do your little waiting period to set the hook, and then you'll find out you catch that fish on the white side, on the bottom side. And that's because that Big Mama is trying to save that bait for later. She's trying to save her food until she digests what's already in her. And you won't encounter this probably but once a year, but if you fish a lot, many years as I've been fishing, you will encounter that probably 3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 times a day. Probably this month, November and December. So just wait, stiff rod, braid line, sharp hook, set the hook very hard. And I wish I had the opportunity to set the hook right now. It's kind of cold out here and I'm not getting any bites, but with my experience, I know it could happen any minute. I could get that big strike. So I have confidence in my lure, I have confidence in my fishing, and my experience tells me that any minute now, I could get that big strike and have that big 8-pounder. So that's your information for today. But just remember, if you wade fishing or have an opportunity to be in the water, those fish might be there. I don't care how many times you cast, they will not strike it. So keep trying, have confidence, have patience, and you'll get that big strike. Good luck.